Shalom, collective Israel, to the whole collective Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian Haitians, and the foreign Israelites that look like the other nations scattered the earth. I want to give all praise to Barak, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi, Yahawah, Barak, Yahawashi. Got to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Hashem, Qadash. I'm going to give double honor to the elders and the apostles of their millstone led me to this truth by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray, fast, show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment for all those who are part of the elect and to the hopeful elect. Lord willing to be part of that number. Lord willing to be edifying to the Lord and striving to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities. Judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 5. And it's not 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 9. 2nd Ezra chapter 5 verse. So Lord willing to be edifying to the flock. Of the lesson, the spirit and power, Yahawashi, Yahawashi, Shalom. God and the spirit going with this topic and a lot of other various topics, but it says the U.S. versus China cooperation or confrontation, and then other various end time. I usually go into, the Lord puts the spirit on me to deal with multiple various things that He's doing. So Lord willing this edifying to the flock. Lord willing, internet's a little better today. So, get these started. So we're going to start right here. BRICS accelerates its efforts to dethrone the U.S. dollar. So basically, let's read a little bit. It says, while it is true that BRICS countries have expressed their desire to reduce the dominance of the U.S. dollar, international trade and finance, it would be an exaggeration to say they are racing to achieve this. Countries have been exploring alternatives to U.S. dollars as a means to enhance their economic size, to reduce the exposure to potential financial vulnerabilities. United States again under attack. Babylon the Great for the extravagant privilege that it enjoys the worldwide currency, the dollar, the Brazil, Russia, China, India, and South Africa, and other nations that are emerging market nations are attempting to entice a replace of United dollar. So they started coming out what it's going to be. What's going to be a challenge and things. This is just showing that they're still pushing. They're real hard right now. Pull up some precepts about it because they're starting to pick up on what they want to do. And this is the Lord making them do this. So Isaiah 59:19. And it's got America, it's got them worried, and it should, but this is what you say about it. So they shall fear the name of the Lord from the west, because over there in the east, gathering these other heathens, destroy this place, and then they're going to be destroyed. And his glory from the rising, when them intercontinental ballistic missiles come, after he's going to appear, he's going to part the clouds, he's going to appear when the enemy shall come in like a flood. So that military power, they're going to come in. They're going to try to get everybody to take this sea here. It says the spirit of the Lord Yahawashi will lift up a standard against him, and that's going to be that heavy firepower. His men get receiving spiritual power when we part of that number. And all, the intercontinental ballistic missiles coming from the east. Nations for what, the other nations is mad at this place, because of all the things, they've done to the other nations, the economic and all their resources and supplies, and they basically use them for their benefit. Them touching the apple's eye, this is what's going to happen, which is Israel. This is what's going to happen to them, But for now, it's just, it's gearing everything up. So this is Psalms chapter 102, verse 15. So the heathen shall fear the Lord, and all the kings of the earth thy glory. So all these ones that are kings on the, they fear the name of the Lord. They just act like they don't. They know that Yahawashi has come back to destroy this place already. But you got the ones under them, they don't fear the name of the Lord. And even that do fear the name of the Lord, even the heathens that do fear the name of the Lord basically hardened the old Pharaoh. The new Pharaoh is the so-called white man. He hardened his heart, and he's gonna make them fight. Really don't want to fight, but he's gonna make them. He know he's gonna lose. He knows that he's gonna die by the sword. He didn't tell us, but he knows now because the prophets are back on the scene of old, revealing it to him, and he sees. And that's why when he heard of it, it says when the king had heard, the Pharaoh had heard the report of it, said pangs, took a hold. Okay, he was in great travail because he knew to go into slavery. Revelation 17:17 and read, for power has, which means love, which means their minds, to fulfill this will and to agree and to give to the beast, which is the reviver, until the words of power shall be fulfilled. They're going to give over their power to this beast system, and it's going to be a global system. It's going to, they're going to force everybody to be it, so, and that's what they did for a time being, but now they're getting ready to turn on the revival, which is America, Babylon the Great, and destroy it. You see? And this is all part of the Lord's fulfilled prophecy, So now we're going to do Psalms chapter 9, verse 20. There were some other things that are just like, man, some things in the earth. I'll try to save them in the middle of the lesson. So 9, verse 20. Put them in fear, O Lord, Yahawashi, that the nations may know themselves to be but men. Selah. So that's what we're doing right now. We're praying to Yahawashi to get rid of these fear in them, because they really fear the Lord, but that's all part of the plan. So they're not going to have no excuse whenever he starts anything and beamed out of the sky by the chariots. There ain't going to be no excuse, and he's not going to care. We're not going to care. We out of here. So Psalm chapter 19, verse 9, the fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and together. So this is righteous judgment. But the rest of the world, they look at it as, oh, how could somebody, well, how could you do that to Israel? How could you do all the things that you did to us? You know, you're going to have to pay for that. These other nations, they're going to have to pay for that. Double cup, according to the scriptures. Psalm chapter 27, verse 1, a psalm of the Lord is my light and my salvation. I fear the Lord is strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? I'm not supposed to be afraid of these other nations. About them. You know, we got fear of the Lord over everything. It said, don't fear those who can just take away the body, fear with the soul and the body. That's who we fear. That's why we're going to put him first. All over ourselves. There's nothing else better to do than to serve Yahawashi and Yahawashi. It's the highest position that you can, and be called to do. This is Isaiah chapter 8, verse 13, and reads, sanctify the Lord of hosts himself. Let him be your fear and let him be your dread. So these other nations, what they got going on, we ain't dreading them. We worried about Yahawashi, not us as sons, not giving us that clean slate. That's what we worried about. That's why we over here talking and staying occupied in prophecy. We don't care what's going on. We're going to do this first. 35 verse 4, say unto them that are, be strong, fear not, behold, your power, which is your, will come with vengeance. With the recompense, he will come and save you. See? And it's got to be by those names. It's got to be by Yahawashi. Like if you say you had a and your name was something, and then you went down there, he's calling you name and asking you to help him out. You don't even know my name, son. Like, you don't even know me, man. And that we know correct towards the Lord, because we already sinned against the Lord. You can't just come call him anything. Camps and these other stuff, and 2/3 of our people, they don't think the name deal. They're gonna realize that. So this is talking about the world's first baby born from transplanted using robots. This is crazy. Okay, you see what this is they born a baby from a transplanted uterus, like not something normal. Okay, I don't want to read too much about it. You get it, you know what I'm saying? But let's read the first part. It says the boy weighing 13 ounces was born by a planned 2 weeks early. Both my child and organ donor who was a relative are doing well. They're using these robots to perform sites, that they're doing these robots. They're using these to perform things, that's just uncommon. You see what I'm saying? They're doing all types and trying to act like they're doing something good, I come up with all these ways to make you think that the robots and all these technology that they have is good for us. It's not. So I want to read Revelations 13:13. I want to look it up in the Blue Letter Bible. So Revelations 13:13. We're gonna look up a term in that passage, and it reads, and he do a great that he make a fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of on man. Okay, and that with us is the two bombs, little man, fat boy, and little, that they bombed those two Japanese. And we'll read verse 14, deceiving them that dwell upon the earth by the means of those miracles, which had the power to do in the sight of the, only have that power to do inside of the beast because it's part of prophecy. Yahawah has ordained them to do these, be condemned, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which is the seed, which had wounded by the sword and did live, which is the Roman Empire, the revived Roman Empire. That's that wound was when the first Babylonian Empire was taken down after it reigned for about 1,000 years, you know. And then when it talks about, and the scripture talks about a little horn appeared, you know, out of that beast, that little horn is America. Great. But basically, when you come here and you look up this word wonders, we make wonders, right? You're gonna read that.
Strong's G 42, Semayon.
See, wonders, a sign, mark, token, that a person, a thing is distinguished from others and is known. See, they're doing things distinguished, a sign, product, portent, and i.e. an unusual occurrence. See, that's usual. You know, these robots to and brain transplants and this stuff is not usual. This is not usually things that can be done, but the Lord's allowing it to happen, transcending the common court. See, through what? The damn robots of sign for of signs portending with events soon to happen. These are wonders that are gonna happen soon, you know. And there's going to be more as the time goes. Be wonders on the right hand side of the Lord too. There's going to be miraculous healings, miraculous miracles. You know, so if miracles by one or authenticates the men sent by, or by which men prove that they are pleading is Yahawah's, his powers. You see, only those supernaturally miracle signs. And they think that they're actually the ones doing it, and they're not the ones doing it. It's the Lord. Time being to deceive 2/3, so they can perish here because they're the one who told you how Bahasham Yahawashi last, let our blood be on children, our children's children, you know. So that's why judgment is they can't find this truth. They don't even seek it. They don't understand it. They can't. So now we're going to pull up Matthew chapter 24, verse 24. This reads, "For there shall rise Mashiachs." Christ means a Mashiach, which means anointed one in Paleo Hebrew, and false prophets show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the Iberian. So these wonders are to deceive 2/3, but they can't deceive the elect. You can't deceive the elect. You know, and we don't know if we're part of the elect, but we've been called to understand how to put on the elect and to hope that we will go that number. So we're going to look up wonders in this passage as well.
Strong's G 5059. Terras.
It says a prodigy, important miracle performed by anyone. See? So anyone who's going to do anything is by Bahasham Yahawashi, the left hand side of the Lord and the right hand side of the Lord. If you're on the right hand side of the Lord, which we are because we're of Israel, we just don't know if we're of that number. But we're on that right hand side of the Lord. Why? Because we can understand the things that the elders and apostles are saying. We believe them through the faith gifted us with. You know, you can't just believe them because you want to believe them. The Lord has to want you to believe. You know, and basically, the one signs and wonders that they do, we know that those are not of the right hand side of the Lord. Lord had them do those on the other side. So we're gonna read. Yeah, they had them do it on the left hand side of the Lord, the right hand side of the Lord. These signs and wonders that they're doing, making these babies out of transplanted fetuses and all types of robots and technology. So verse 25, behold, I have told you before. Verse 26, they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert. Go not forth, behold, he secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lighting cometh out of the east and shine even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever is there will be there will the eagles be gathered together. So to break that down a little bit more and give you a better understanding of what he's really saying, because it can be a little confusing sometimes. That's why we're supposed to study. See, so it says Messiahs, and this is talking about for the brothers, Messiah, the false prophets will rise up and perform great signs and wonders so as to deceive, if possible, even powers, chosen ones. See? See, I have warned you ahead of time. See? So if someone tells you, look, the Messiah, which said Christ, it says Messiah now. Messiah, you know, which is Yahawashi, is out in the desert. Don't bother to go and look. He is hiding here. Don't believe it. And that's what they're saying. You got these people coming out. This person is the Messiah return, but you know, Great Millstone don't tell you that. Great Millstone says he's coming in his spirit. He's given us the spirit to warn our people his return. As for the lightning flashes in the east and shines to the west, so it will be when the Son of Man comes. Just as the gathering of the vultures show there's a carcass nearby, so these shines, the end is near. So these signs that, you know, of them doing all these miraculous wonders, you know, brain and all this stuff, this is how we real close to the end. There's not that much time left to repent. We're gonna know it's really the time whenever, you know, GMS, you know, does that announcement, not teaching no more on highways and byways. And come, Lord, hey, that's over with, man. And it's gonna be all we're gonna have is prayer and hoping the Lord, you know, delivers us, you know, of hope. So now we're going on. It said hundreds of, you know, Edomites, and it says so-called white women, but it's Edomites. It might be out there that look like Edomites, but we don't know. Gather at Colorado Capitol after woman of color, which, you know, it could, you know, it could have been an Issacharite woman. We don't know. It says after plea from a woman of color to use their privilege to demand gun violence. So, you know, they're all out there trying to make it seem like they're doing good cause and whatnot. But, you know, this is what the Lord told me to put the spirit on about it, you know, because when it comes down to it, not here for our good. Okay. These other nations, whatever they do, they're not doing it to is mainly to do something. And, you know, they try to act like they rock. They're not. They're not rocking with us. We're not cool with them. They're not cool with us. These are the same spirits that are back that hated you last time. They hated us. Basically, what they're trying to do right now is make it seem like they standing up for us because some woman of color said something about it. And see, they're saying they're using their privilege. They're proving it. They got a privilege to demand action on gun violence. What I'm bringing up is really they're trying to use their so-called white privilege and condemn their ass, condemn for it. Okay, because they have been spoiled with the fatness of the earth, blessings and stuff, and the Lord's they ass up, and they got to go into slavery. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16, fornicator or profane person who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright, for ye know that when he would have inherited him, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. So that's him basically trying, that's Esau Edom, and of course it's the women, but they're trying to seek their repentance with many trying to come across and be like, oh, we're here to, demand, something, because this lady of color said it, and they're just on some bullshit. They're forging lies. But when you look up the birthright, they said he sold his birthright, right?
G 4415. Takia. Prototakia.
Prototakia. It means the right percentages of the firstborn son. So all Jacob, you see, all that went to Jacob. You see, they don't have the first right, or this is why we know that they're never on our side. They're never gonna have that sense of same team. We're not on the same team as them. They don't care about us. They act like they are, but they not. So I want to go look fornicator as well. Say at least there be any fornicator as Esau, right? So let's pull that up.
Strong's G 4205. Parnas. Parnas.
A man who prostitutes his body to another's lust for a male prostitute. A man who indulges in a lustful sexual intercourse okay, and that's just the things that he does. That's something he does. But what I'm saying, like, basically he gave over his essence, flesh, in all reality, that's what they do. They don't think spiritually. So they gave up all so they can have this world, and that's why I said, why would a world man gain the whole world to lose his own soul? He did. He basically gave up his soul, So when they go out and try to be like, oh, we're here for y'all, we're out here denying gun violence. Well, how did y'all even get America Babylon the Great to be established? Violence. Now y'all want to take the good again. See what I'm saying? They don't make no sense. They just be on some bull biggity, and they ass need to die. So now Psalms chapter 73, verse 5. And this is some of the that they have that they're talking about. They're going around talking about our privilege. They're gonna have it because they know damn well they got privilege, and they prove it in the scriptures. So this is Psalms chapter 73, verse 5. Reads, they are not in trouble as others, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore, pride compassed about as a chain, violent garments. So when they sit here talking about we don't want no guns, that's the same shit that done got so rich through them and forcing them to do it with their weapons. Because Esau Edom was given the sword, the so-called white man. So I'm gonna look up this Strong's definition for trouble. Say they're not in trouble, right? Well, we're gonna get to that saying. We're just talking when they're not in trouble like other men.
Strong's H 5990. Amal.
Instead of mal, it says labor, misery, travail, grievousness. See, the Lord said He gave us a grievous wound. And there be plagues that we received that's not in the book. And who own all them? Who got all them plagues like syphilis? Who got all that stuff? The CDC, they got all that stuff in you know, disease stuff down down over there bunkers. They got all these plagues. Okay, and the Lord's using those plagues thirds right now, and he's fucking them up. Also, you know, he's testing us as well. Some of us get sick. Some of shit. You know, he's testing us too. If we're gonna have faith that he's gonna come heal us. You know, but what's the difference between us and 2/3? He shall know them by their fruits. That's how we're able to identify Acts 14:22. Who's the ones who are to the prophets. It says the soul of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So that's how we're able to determine, you know, who really loves Yahawashi. A process of time. You know, you got to be diligent, you know, for a good time. The words of wickedness, toil, labor, trouble, mischief, toil, labor. See, they don't have to go through labor like, but now they're at that point where we're at that point now. Them are laboring like us, and they don't get plagued like us. Why? Because they're starting to get the plagues. You know, privileges are starting to be taken. They just don't. Some of them just don't see it yet. It's going to be. So Hebrews chapter 12 verse 6. The Lord loveth, he chastises, forges every son who he receiveth. And this is why we know they don't know Rawchaa. Why? Because he hasn't chastised, never done nothing to him. And he said that those people are nothing to him as well. You know, he said it and he said it in the New Testament. He said they're nothing. And then so while he's got them going, maybe they might be going through some stuff. While they got them going through some stuff, that's just the judgment that they're what they did last time. But the Lord doesn't. And in verse 7 it says, if ye endure chastising, because we get chastised and to be tested. It's the difference when we get power deal with you as sons. But what is a man whom the Father chastises not? But if you be without chastisement, you're all partakers, then you are bastards and are not sons. And that's how it is for Esau Edom. He's a bastard. That's why he's been literally here. You know, they call this place the white man's heaven, so-called white man's heaven, and so-called hell. Why? Because the Lord put us here for prophecy's sake. Go through these things so he could of the devil. So this is Luke chapter 6 verse 24. And it reads, but woe unto you that are really talking about 2/3. Because like I said, we ain't even dealing with the other nations. They're just casualties of war. But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received consolation. No? So when we look up that word constellation, that's what it says.
Strong's G 3870. Paraklesis.
A calling near some for help, some entreaty, exhortation, admonition, encouragement. So stuff that they got from the Lord is on this. See, that's all they got. All they get is this consolation, comfort. See, comfort or refreshment. That's all they get. All they get is a bunch of that's about to get blown up. That's why it said, woe unto those people, because they receive their comfort. Why? Because they're rich and they good. They don't need no. They don't need nothing. So that means that they already got their blessing from, and that means they're not getting no Jacob's trouble. Verse 25: woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. You know, and they do hunger. They all that money they got, they still miserable. Why? Because they don't got this truth. Woe unto you, laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. When all men shall speak well of you. See, we don't want all men to speak well of us. This doctrine is hated by the earth, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. See? So we don't want to be everybody all saying they love us and all that shit. We're not trying to hear that shit. You know, we're over here to Bahasham, Yahawashi, show these people that they're finna die, man. We don't care about if they like us or not. So right here, gonna heat up over here with the U.S. and China, okay, and this is going that World War III to pop off. U.S. Navy offers China a choice because just like maybe like a week ago, a couple, I might say maybe 3-4 days ago, they tried to get China to meet with them on something. China was like, we don't want to meet y'all, we good. So that kind of made them do this. So it says U.S. Navy offers China cooperation or confrontation. What's confrontation? World War III. So United delivered a multi-layered message to the political leadership of the People's Republic of China, leadership of the People's Liberation, and unexpectedly and unprecedentedly public remarks such as high-ranking officer Adam John Aquilino, commander of Pacific Command, laid down markers for the PLA counterparts and their Chinese superiors. First, he was off-spoken assurance by the U.S. officials from the president on down to the seeks only peace and prosperity, not confrontation with China. Bullshit. That's why they're saying you're gonna cooperate, do what we say do, or we're gonna. And that's how America gets down. They ain't coming over and talking about we just want to be friends. Been over there saying fuck America. We don't want to fuck with y'all. They've been threatening us. Russia's been threatening the U.S. Not saying like us, like we're here, but we part of the U.S. Bro. We stuck in the U.S., but we not of the U.S. So members and Indo-PACOM and their civilian warriors spend every day working to prevent conflict, not provoke it, whatever. Y'all murdering people, killing people all throughout the years. You done force people into concentration camps and everything. And don't worry, there's on it. I even found one. The Lord put the spirit on me to find one. I'm gonna pull it up in just a minute. But I wanted to deal with this first, and we're gonna pull up some precepts about it. This is getting heavy today. We're gonna look up Revelations. Chapter 11, verse 14. One that this is one of them that you remember. This is a very heavy prophecy. Day by day as it fulfills out. It's filling out right now. Revelation 11, verse 14. Oh, it's past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly, and it is coming quickly, and we seeing it every day. They got over there and they say fuck y'all. Maybe the very next day they say, hey, you better cooperate, or it's finna be. That's how quick it be going that day. Just like he told Habakkuk in chapter 2, he said that it'll come, and he said wait for it because it's not going to tarry. I might pull up after this. So this is Isaiah 14:21. Perplexed slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise land nor fill the cities, and we don't fill the face of the world with cities. We over here as captives. Said prepare slaughter for his children. They named all the places after their own. And they got to pay for that. The Lord's angry that he promised all this land to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's looking these days. You see what I'm saying? So like I said, to Habakkuk. This is Habakkuk, verse 3. And see, that's the one thing. 2/3 they don't see the whole vision. Envision these. You have to be able to envision these things. So it says, for the vision on a point of time, but at the end and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not. my cousin's not here right now. Yeah, he said don't come on if you ain't here. Yeah, I'm only just over here for the. Salakia. Got these apartment people trying to knock on the door or whatever, and it don't even matter. I'm finna be going out of here tomorrow anyways. I got to move around again. Lord's put me in that, be a nomad training, and I have been. But you know, Lord willing, that training session will be over on the 15th. It's been fun. So, anyways, he said that it won't. He said that it won't tarry. Okay, we're gonna go over here. Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. So this is part while that's happening, the Lord's doing many things. You know, come on now, Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. Right, we're here in Ezekiel, and that's why I said speak these things in parables and speak them. You know, here a little, there a little, because only hopeful elect is going to understand that. You know, only hopeful elect is going to understand what's going on. Else gonna be like, well, why are you doing it like that? That's what it's for. But anyways, when you look up here, it talks about the vision of, okay, so it has to be a lot of death, okay. So verse 4, it says, and the Lord said, in the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, which is us, Jerusalem, wherever we're at, the city of Jerusalem. We're not in Israel, so wherever we're at is where Jerusalem is, where we were scattered, four corners of earth, and set upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations be done in the midst thereof. Now, there are Christians that try to say, see, that's the same mark in Revelation 13:16. No, it's not. Spiritual mark. And we're going to prove that right here. So it says, set a mark. Because when you look over there at the other mark, it says an incision. Okay, this is here. See?
Strong's H 8420.
Tav. See, it says this mark as a sign of exemption from judgment. See, it's not an incision. Over there in Revelation 13:16, we look it up, it's an incision. Okay, this is how you're able to know that. That's how you're able to know how distinctive these parables are. You know, they that's what they don't show you in the church. They just want to show you how they changed it. And be able to understand it. And that's why, like Elder Apostle Ramla was talking this morning, it's very important to go back into the Paleo-Hebrew and the ancient Greek, and you know, in all these different languages, you know, these other languages that we use, you know, especially the Paleo-Hebrew, because it gives you the full understanding of it. You know, he didn't say it was necessary to know 100% of, you know, the Paleo he saved, but you know, that's it doesn't mean that you want to know key. You know, and if you can learn all, if you Lord puts the heart on you, do it. You know, do it. It's not bad to learn our language. You know. So this is Isaiah chapter 50, verse 45. So while he's setting that mark, that exemption from on all his servants, and that's why we're serving the Lord, hoping that he's going to set that mark on us, so we can be, you know, from this judgment. So this is hold on. Okay. Now we're going to do this precept. Mine 50:45. Okay. Isaiah, Salakia. So Jeremiah 55. Okay, so while that's going on and he's sealing the elect, Lord will remember, you know, after they've had measure of what the Lord wanted them to do, just like they've done, you know, they did what the Lord told them to do, and he said, all right, now you come back, do it again. Just like he told Daniel. He also told John the Reverend. So this is Jeremiah chapter 55. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahawashi, that he had taken against Babylon, America, Babylon the Great, and that he had purpose against the land of the Indians, which is the so-called white man. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. The elites, Amalek, Esau, who we know are the Rothschilds today. Why? Because they're the head of the elites. Surely their habitation desolate with them. At the noise of the taking of Babylon the Great, the earth is moved. What? And the cry is, why is it heard? Because they said that the merchants in them be weeping because they won't be making no more money off this, greedy bastards. Okay, so I want to look up this here because it says that he's taking his purposes, right? We're gonna look up that word purposes. What kind of purposes?
Strong's H 4284. Mahashaba. Mahashaba.
Mahashaba. See?
3. Mahashebeth. Mahashebeth.
Okay, Mahashebeth. It says thought, device, imaginations, devise, invented means, thought, device, plan, purpose, invention. See, invented this plan. Yahawashi invented this plan. And when you look up the word purposed, it gives a little bit of understanding.
Strong's H 2803. Hashem.
It says count, devise, think, imagine, cunning, reckon, purpose, esteem, account, forecast. See, it's a forecast. It's a prophecy. Forecast. Workman, conceive. So this says to think, plan, esteem, calculate, invent. That's why it said it's not going to take, not going to be slack, and it's not going to late. It's not going to be slack. It's going to be right on time. Invent, judgment, imagine, count, account, to plan, devise, mean, to charge, impute, reckon, to esteem, value, to invent. He invented this prophecies to go out in the exact way he wanted them to go to be thought. Lord thought about this stuff, to be computed. See what I'm saying? To think upon, consider, be mindful of, think, to do, divide, a lot of stuff, you know, to hold, forecast. Man, that's just that word, purposed. You know, that's how strategic this is. What's happening right now? Okay, and when they went and raided Israel in 70 AD, and they took the Bible and changed it into these words, saying, you see, and now they're terrified, you know. And how do we know they're also going to get? Because it says over here at the very end of the scriptures, I'm going to pull this up too, Lord, putting the spirit on me to go ahead and up there too. This is Revelations chapter 22, verse 19. And if any man, hold on, let's go back one. It reads, for I testify unto every man that heareth the words of this book, if any man shall add unto these things. And what do? They add a whole bunch of downs, they add a whole bunch of other shit, changed the language, they did all this shit. Power shall add unto him the pleasure written in this book. You changed all the names and stuff. That the meaning was lost. So they changed the meaning. That's why they say you'll burn in hell forever and all this other stuff. They changed the meanings whenever they changed the words. They changed. They did. They changed all the faces in the book. Try to say they were so-called white people. They did a whole bunch of stuff to the book. So this is why they're receiving the plagues right. The way had to happen for a time being, and prophecy had to play out before they received this judgment. Revelation chapter 20, 19. If any man shall take away from of this prophecy, power shall take away his part out of the book of life, the holy city, and from the things which are in this book. You see? So that's why we're real not to be taken at, because we don't want to be taken out of the holy city. We want to be the ones that were there, but you can't really take or add yourself to the holy city. You are already part of the holy city if you are. If you're not, then you're not. So we pray to Yahawah. He continues to deal with us. Only ones that are part of the holy city are the ones that stay with this truth that we got from Great Millstone, 100% truth, and deal with it every day as all this stuff goes on. What's going on? It said moves to freeze all crypto exchange Binance US assets. All these people who have been in the comfort zone, because Jake's been using this crypto stuff to be comfortable, they about to freeze all that shit. They're not going to be able to get their money. See? So this is a big deal. They're finna freeze all that shit. Setting it up to where you're going to have to get this C-HIP if you want to have money. That's what they're doing right now. So, was filed a day after the Fed sued Binance founder and CEOs. The Feds sued, okay? And they're taking all this money. They're going to all the assets. So even if you had money in a bank account and had it taken out, they're going to freeze that money because that's where it shows it came from. You pull money out of they're going to freeze whatever the fuck you pull out of that. Even if you pull it out and put it in an American bank. Freeze that shit. So a lot of people bugging the fuck out, okay? Because they've been doing all trying to make that extra money, that damn scam, doing that bullshit, trying to have extra. We're supposed to be in any more than what we supposed to get. Then the Lord's gonna be like, you being greedy, bro. You're not supposed to be greedy like that. You know, get a little extra. What are we supposed to do with it? Help the brotherhood, man. Ezekiel chapter verse 16, and it reads, "Oh, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem," which talking about too. You know, and this too, but we're gonna eat. We're gonna eat a lot better than them. We're gonna be fine. Lord's gonna take in some way. He's gonna make sure. Even if sometimes he might test us and be, well, you believe I'm gonna take care of you? He might test us a little bit, you might a little bit, but hey, you fasting that and endure as a good soldier, Lord's gonna take care of you. That's without a doubt. His words don't fail. And they shall eat bread by weight and with care, and they shall drink water by measure and with astonishment. And that's what's finna happen. They finna be out here struggling because they shit froze. They gonna be out here like fuck. You know, you just wake up one morning, you ain't got no food in your refrigerator, you ain't nothing. You wake up, your whole bank account froze. Then what you gonna do? You can't just go get a job and start working right away. It's just gonna piece of people, man. It's not gonna be good. You know, ain't nothing good coming to this place. Okay, not to the end of the day, although when we part of that number, the hopeful elect, we want this shit to happen. We want it because we want to go home, man. Officials say Garfield Company oil spill is double estimate, double original estimate. So there is a big, gigantic oil spill. Okay, the estimate on the size of the spill is now barrels or close to 1,000. So this water has just got all types of just dirty ass water in it, dirt, oil in it, and that's bad, you know. So it says after hundreds of barrels estimated and contaminated about 3 miles of 9 Mile Creek in Garfield County between in Kremlin, while the officials originally spilled to be about 500 barrels, about 70 recovered by late Friday. On an interview, OFR, spokesman of Oklahoma Cooperation, the estimate on the side 5,000 barrels. So we're going to listen why the Lord's having all these oil spills and all these trains where there's toxic waste spills is because he's basically getting this ready. Revelations chapter 8, verse 11. And it reads, in the name of the wood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were. And this is going to be after the ballistic missiles. After they hit everywhere and all that happens, there's still going to be people, and they're going to try to drink that because there's not going to be nowhere else to get water. It's going to kill their ass. Many. So that means there are many people here. See? They're going to die from that shit. And then they're come down on the clouds with the 144th thing. They're gonna kill everything else. And they're gonna go take out the elite out of those bunkers and out of to hide their little seed banks and all their shit. And they're going into slavery. Galatians chapter 11, verse 13. And it reads, in that same hour, great earthquake. This is what's going to happen at Wormwood takes place. In the same hour, there was a great earthquake in the 10th part of the 10 FEMA that they have labeled. You can even type it in. Let's see if we can find it real quick. See if we can find it real quick. The 10th part of the 10th part is talking about the FEMA zones. You see if I see that's what right there. That the 10 FEMA zones. That's the 10th part of the earth. That's America, Babylon the Great. Those 10 B is that's what it represents. See, and it's shit. And that's why we can, we're we know more because starting with the Elsers Great Millstone, they're the prophets coming back again and can actually things down now. Because why? Because the falling already done mainly happened. There's still some of us still not awake to this truth, who need to wake up to this truth. And some of us, some people wake up in the truth and they fall out of the truth. So that means what? They meant to just go into the truth to be condemned. That's why we pray for the Lord not to take the Holy Psalm chapter 51:11, because we want to be those people. We want to stay in this truth. So now, the same hour, there's a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. In the earthquake, there were slain 7,000 completion, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the power. And who's the remnant? That's the elect. And they were frightened because they were taken up into the chariots and seen the place. So they just gave glory to Yahawashi for getting them out of there. That's what it's talking about. We're going to deal with Matthew chapter 24, verse 30. Okay. And bear with me. Give me 1 second. Okay. Right. So this is saying, it says, and it reads, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. Who's that? Bahasham Yahawashi coming down. So he'll come out of sign of heaven, and then shall all the tribes of. Why? Because they're the ones who got left down here. The 2/3. They didn't want to listen. So because there's gonna be down here still left after that. So all the tribes of the earth shall mourn, and there'll be also the other nations as well. This is mainly talking about 2/3. The Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And that's what they're going to see. They're going to give like, oh crap, we're not going to mourn when he comes down. Do we want Yahawashi to come down? So that's how we know what he's talking about. 2/3 of our people don't want to take heed to the doctrine, don't want to change. So as we go on, this saying right here, remembering the time U.S. 427,000 people into prison camps for being Japanese, forced heathens into going in on prison camps, concentration camps. This would be in Japanese. Now that we know the biblical Hebrew Israelites, and we're over here declaring that we're not going to take a seat here. We're declaring that slavery. You think they're not going to lock some of us up for being Hebrew Israelites? That's why, this stuff. Don't forget, this is the same people. This is America, Babylon the Great. They'll lie to being somebody. Okay. Don't take this lightly as something that is not going to happen. And that's how, a lot of our people are. They're like, oh, it's just, the Bible's been changed so many times. Y'all don't know what it means. Job chapter 9, verse 20. And a lot of us who've been in the truth know this verse, but we bring it up. Job chapter 4, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. Judges, they covered up judgment. So there's not no true judgment in the earth. If not, wherein who is he? And we know that's he, the so-called white man. The spiritual demon Satan's vessels that he uses to do wickedness on the earth. In Esdras, chapter 1671. I got about 3-4 more precepts, and then I'm done. About precepts, and then I'm out. So second Esdras chapter 16, verse 71, it reads, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling that fear of the Lord Yahawashi. So it's too. Some of us are gonna have to strive unto death. And we're prepared for, what's the point of coming in here knowing that the servant is no greater than his master? Well, he got beat to destroyed. So whatever we go through is a life. We get killed, hey, it was an honor to serve Yahawashi. We hope to get saved out of it. It's just a lot we're in. So they should be like mad none, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear in the Lord. And when you go back a little bit to verse 17, because the Lord had, angels come down and give him all these revelations, because, Esdras was asking the Lord, like, when are you on these heathens? Because he wanted them to take over at that time, but he couldn't. Why? Because they had to go through. He had to be reborn back into the earth amount of time, to happen. So this is second Esdras 16 verse 17. Woe was me who would deliver me in those days. And that was Esdras. And like, damn, I'm gonna have to come back here once again. See? So he knew that he was gonna have to come back. So let me pull up. I want to pull up second Esdras chapter 4 verse 36 as well, and then I'm gonna close out. But this is gonna have to come back again. But to expound on that, this is second Esdras chapter 4 verse 36. Yeah. Hold on. It's a specific scripture. Hold on, because it's one that I want to. But I just recently learned it, so it's something I pull up all the time. I learned it in my studies. I think it's Sirach. Actually, it's Sirach chapter 36, verse 11, which is Ecclesiasticus. No, it's not. So let me see. Yeah. I have to go try to post it in the combo. I ain't gonna try to take too long with it, but this is that last one. Sit down a little bit better. Second Edges, because it said that there had to be a period of, and he had to come back in that period of time and stand in his lot. But like I said, it says it's 4 verse 33, and I answered and said, how and when shall these things? So like he said, when shall these things come to pass? Wherefore years few and evil. Now it's man like I want to get this over with. And he answered and said unto me, saying, do not thou above the most highest. That's why he's like, this is not the time right now yet, but we're giving you the vision, but you're gonna have to come back for thy aim to be above him, much exceeded. See, so he was telling them, don't be trying to speed it up. Maybe asking me to do it when I want to do it. Verse 35: Did not the souls also of the question of these things in their chamber? How long shall I hope in this fashion? When cometh the fruit of the floor of our? That's what the prophets are back today to receive their reward for all the patience that they had through their faith in death. That's what they come back to receive their reward. What? Seeing the enemies and receiving the power, receiving that dominion of the universe for Yahawashi. So verse 36, and unto these things Uriel and Archangel gave them the answer and said, even when the number of seeds, see this, even when the number of seeds filled in you, see, the number of seeds, that means you had to keep coming back. So of seeds is filled in you, for he hath weighed the world in the balance. So that was showing had to come back a certain amount of times for this to go down. That's all I got for today. Lord willing, those edifying to the flock. Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful, to the Native American, West Indian Haitians, and the foreign Israelites that look like the other nations scattered across the four corners of the earth. Want to go Barak, Yahawashi. Got to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. And get me to this truth. And been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray, fast, and show forth the righteousness. Show forth the Lord's Salakia, show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy and forgiveness to the hopeful elect. Lord willing to be part of that number. Lord willing to be edifying of those who fear in the name of the Lord. Having to show forth the Lord. His judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 5, and it's not slack. Second 3 verse 9 is 5 verse 42. So the water for tuning in. Wild ball. Lord willing to be here. Shalom.